Slipknot without the screaming, an energy so stark, a Marshall Mathers without the rhymes, like executing Beethoven music without the lines. You know something's missing, but you can't figure out why. Maybe it was done and fleeing and the music's about to die. It's like the Snoop without the dog, and a tour without the smoke, Biggie without the Smalls, Tyson without the Broke, Led without the Zeppelin, Strummer without the Clash, Paul without Lennon, like Johnny without the Cash, like Mick without Keith, and the band without the boss, just like Angus without the Young, and Wings without the sauce, Guns without the Roses, Axl without Slash, a guitar without Jimmy, a finale without Mash. When life seems down and everything tattered, take a trip with us back to when the music mattered. When life seems down and everything tattered, take a trip with us back to when the music mattered. Music mattered, music mattered, music mattered, music mattered, music mattered, music mattered, music mattered.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to When the Music Mattered. My name is Ray Rout, and yes, this is not a mirage. That man right over there is Army Chris, buddy. Jumping out of airplanes. How are you?
Good, man. It was good. It was a good time. It is every year. I'm doing a whole show with some of the staff tomorrow night. There's my plug. The fucking Fire for Effect pod is back midsummer. That's rare.
Just drop it on a random day in July. July 29th.
But we need to recap what the whole thing was about, right?
So
that's what's happening.
So we won't give any teasers, nothing about what Operation Pegasus is, nothing. Just show up to Fire and Effect tomorrow.
Well, it won't be live tomorrow. We're going to record it tomorrow, and I'll release it next week after I chop it up and add in some cool fucking video. But yeah, it's about, I'll tell you what, I'll drop it like this because we got a guest coming in here. It's not about jumping out of planes. That's what we call in the military as background activity. It's about community, mental health awareness, and being with like-minded people, you know, from first responders, COs like you used to be, and military guys that are battling and dealing with mental health. And then we go jump out of fucking planes and face the fear.
That's pretty fucking awesome. All right. As you said, we do have a guest tonight.
We do. And apparently he's a talker. So let's get him in here.
We started wasting time in the off air talking about stuff like old school what I used to, so I had to get it done. So dude, I looked like this band. Every time I have said it, I can say the name, but it's just I have fucked it up every time I have said it because they couldn't have made it any more difficult to pronounce.
Like Okanagan?
Fuck you. Today we're interviewing our boy Matthew from the band Camo Kimono, and you have no idea how many times I've switched that and combined command.
Do you know what a kimono even is?
I do. It's a Japanese.
There you go. Yeah, so it's Camo Kimono. It's not that hard, man.
All right, well, let's bring him in here. Matthew, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thank you so much for bringing me on. And yes, it is a bit of a tongue twister. Even I have screwed up the pronunciation live at shows.
Really?
Yeah,
so,
go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, because that's what I do. I interrupt our guests so they can't get through a cool story. But I'm really interested because I was reading about how you came up with the name today. I was reading about an interview with you and sort of that inspiration. So maybe you could share with our audience how the inspiration for Camo Kimono came to be.
So I've mentioned this before, possibly on other interviews, but originally the band was not called Camo Kimono. It was called Worst Case Scenario, and there were like 5 other bands on Spotify and Apple Music that already had that name. So we tried abbreviating it, and that didn't really work as well because there were also multiple stuff like that. And I'm just sitting there going, I have to find another name or something like that. My Aunt Mary invited me to see a Boy George concert. It was like Boy George, Berlin, and I think it was like Howard Jones, who was sort of like in between. And as I'm sitting there, Howard Jones had just finished getting off stage, and Boy George's sound tech is there setting up. and I'm looking down at some of the people at the Budweiser stage, and there's like a lot of like androgynous, a lot of people wearing some really funky fashion stuff that I'm not used to. And there was a girl who was around like 6 to 8 rows in front of me and my Aunt Sue, and she was wearing this like bright neon blue with like sort of like a tie-dye yellow camo pattern, and she had a like the pants matched the top as well as she had like a neon yellow belt. It looked like she was wearing a karate gi. And I'm looking at it, and I turn to my Aunt Sue, and I'm like, it's odd. It's like she's wearing some bright neon camouflage kimono. And I kind of just stopped for a brief second. I'm like, camouflage kimono. There's something in that. There's some kind of alliteration that we can work with. Camo Kimono. That's the band name.
That's wild, man. Like,
Yeah.
and
Have
that's
you
so
have you
cool.
seen that TikTok artist that goes around? He talks about like how bands come up with their names.
I have
It's
not.
okay. I
Oh,
gotta
I
send
haven't.
it to you because you just explained exactly his skits. Like it's just stuff like that. He's like, oh, what's the matter? He's like, I just did some Red Hot Chili Peppers. Oh, it's okay, boys. And Matthew, we are gonna get deep into your band and what you do. I do want to mention I was at a Budweiser stage this Thursday. Fucking riot almost broke out. It was insane.
Really?
Yeah, I almost got into 2 fights just trying to leave the stadium. And anybody who knows me, I don't go looking for trouble. It was just it was
Who
Our
the
Lady
hell would
Peace.
have the stones to come fucking fuck with you, man?
It was Our Lady
That's
Peace.
got to be a lot of alcohol involved in the other side.
Well, I think the problem was we went into a big delay because severe weather came through,
Yeah.
and everybody who was drunk having a good time sobered up and got hungover, and then they got re-drunk again, and that was
Oh, that's the
just
best time.
yeah. It got rowdy. It got rowdy. Fights breaking out. Again, all I said was excuse me, and a couple of guys wanted to step up. It was insane, but riots aside, a guy who could incite a riot on himself. We lost a legend, the Prince of Darkness, last week, Mr. Ozzy Osbourne. So I do want to take a few minutes here and just discuss the Ozman. And Matthew, I'll start with you, and then Chris, you can answer the same question. I just want to ask you, like, what makes Ozzy Ozzy to you? Like, is it his voice, his adness, his weirdness, his survival, something else? Like, what made Ozzy Ozzy?
There's a variety of different factors, and a lot of other people will give different reasons because, once again, Ozzy encompasses so much to so many people. For me, I jumped into Ozzy late because, once again, I am a millennial. He'd been long since been playing music before I was born, but I had seen the music video for "Don't Want to Stop," which was part of his solo stuff, and it kind of just made me sort of sit there and look at him and go, okay, this guy's got a personality. He's bringing forth like these strong sort of images in terms of what it takes to be a front man and the type of material. His stuff was a little bit more heavier than what I was used to and expecting to, but with music and music in general, even if someone is not like your particular sound, they influence people that will eventually influence you. You know, like I might have not have been a huge fan of, you know, Ozzy Osbourne growing up, but you know who he influenced? He influenced Black Flag. And I'm a huge Henry Rollins fan. So without Ozzy Osbourne, there wouldn't really be as big a connection with Henry Rollins, and it wouldn't be as big a connection with myself. It's kind of like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but with Ozzy.
Chris, I'll throw it to you, man. What makes Ozzy Ozzy?
So I'm a Gen X guy, 54. So to echo Matthew's comments there, it's the same thing. Like I was 9 years old when Blizzard of Oz came out. So this is after Ozzy left Black Sabbath. And I didn't know anything about Black Sabbath because it wasn't what my parents listened to, right? So I got into metal in the 80s, but it was more the glam rock shit, Motley Crue. I was a Kiss fan. And then the heavy stuff, you're digging into everything. So the heaviest stuff I listened to first was Iron Maiden. And then it traced back to Ozzy Osbourne because I thought Blizzard of Oz was fucking amazing album, but I didn't know the back story. But Black Sabbath, you know, self-titled album in 69. Like I wasn't even born for 2 years later. And like, what an influence. So to echo those comments, it's about, because I'm not a huge Ozzy fan. Like I'm not this diehard Ozzy guy, right? But I respect the level of influence he's had on all these hardcore bands going forward, and what a showman he is. Yeah, it was a real bat for those of you doubting it. He didn't know that. Rabies shot later. He was good to go. Just showmanship and just the insanity of the genre. He was I don't know why they call him the prince. He was the king of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So just to me, it's just the influence. And yeah, there's a ton of Ozzy's music and Black Sabbath music that I love to this day, but it's not like my go-to, but it's his influence.
So I'll kind of build upon that question, and I'll ask you, if you had to, and Chris, we'll start with you. If you had to explain Ozzy to someone who's never seen him before, never heard him before, how do you explain Ozzy Osbourne to this alien?
Outside the norm, his rules, his way. That's off the top of my head.
Matt, I'll turn it to you. How do you explain Ozzy Osbourne to somebody who has no idea who Ozzy Osbourne is?
He's one of the most influential heavy metal frontmen of all time. And if it wasn't for the fact that he managed to get in with his group, he might have been stuck where he was and no one would have known who he was. He is incredibly influential in his music. And even if it's not for you, he is still part of our greater musical lexicon.
And a really nice guy.
If you had to pick one song that defined Ozzy's entire career, what would it be to you and why?
So
Matthew, I'll start with you.
Go ahead, yeah.
That's tough because he went through so many different styles of music within his career. He's had ballady stuff. Personally, I really like that last single that he did that had Elton John doing co-vocals
alongside. Good tune, yeah.
Because if you watch the music video, it encompasses his entire career as well. So it's like a perfect time capsule of viewing on top of, showing the best things about him.
Chris, what about you, buddy?
It's tough to pick. It's going to be a bit cliche. So if it's a Black Sabbath tune, it's Iron Man. If it's an Ozzy tune, it's probably Crazy Train.
Yeah,
going off the rails.
Well, you're picking those two songs that are just obviously just quintessential Ozzy Osbourne. For me, it's probably Paranoid from the Black Sabbath track.
Too, sure.
And I think just Mama, I'm Coming Home has always been a song that hits me. It hit me in the soul.
I was thinking about that too, but I had to go with like fucking balls out Ozzy shit. So
War Pigs is a good tune as well. I mean,
see, it's so hard to pick a song, right? And I always get confused between what's an Ozzy song versus what's a Sabbath song. So I kind of just lump it all together.
All right, final question, Chris. I'll give it to you. How should Ozzy Osbourne be remembered?
Just for his 100%, I think this is going to be the generic answer. Just the influence he had moving forward on hard rock or heavy metal rock and roll. How much influence he put on all those bands like Black Flag and fucking tons of other bands. I could sit here all night and talk about that. It's all about what he did for the genre of music, which was, when you got to consider when Sabbath came out in '69, they were killed off all the hippies and it took rock in a completely different direction. I think the only other guy doing that back then might have been Alice Cooper. So they really went balls out to do that. And then just to stand that test of time and move through the 80s and influence other bands. That's my answer to that.
How about you, Matthew? How should Ozzy be remembered?
So this one's going to be interesting. I feel like Ozzy Osbourne, the man, should be known as someone who gave every ounce of strength, everything about him, gave his life for performing live music and being this wonderful storyteller who went out on his own terms. And, just like an aging wrestler or, Father Time catches up with all of us, if it was up to him, he would still be alive, still be performing, but he went out on his own terms and he is a wonderful human being.
Well, let's get into another wonderful human being in the music that he's making, and that's you, Matthew, in your band, Camo Kimono.
Yes.
And I guess I just want to start with you personally. Like, take me back to where you got your love and passion for music, and what was sort of that switch that got flipped that made you say, like, dude, I got to start making music?
So We're going to go really, really, really far back. I'm talking like early grade school. That's where I started having a passion for music. My mom would, she was a bit of a drinker, and she would pass out during my early grade school years with the stereo blaring. And I would sort of just absorb the music that she was playing. For example, Jagged
Been
Little
there.
Pill by Atlantis Morissette, Trick of the Tail by Genesis, the first debut album from Amanda Marshall. When I was with my dad in his car, we were listening to the best of the Doobie Brothers on cassette tape, as well as Seal's first cassette. And I think as well, we also had Peter Gabriel's So on cassette. Like, you start off sort of absorbing the music from the world around you before you start getting your own influences and going from there. Now, what made me want to do music? Right place, right time. I do not come from a musical background. If you were to talk to me in high school and said, "Hey, you're going to be a singer-songwriter," I would have looked at you and said, "I don't know how to sing. The hell are you talking about?" But when I went to my first year of college, I was influenced by seeing Oasis perform live at Toronto Center Island. And at that point, Liam's voice had long since gone. He was really, really rough sounding. And I was listening to him and I'm like, I can do this. I don't know how, but I can do what he is doing. I can write my own songs. I can figure it out. It's going to take me some time. I'm going to kick the ever-loving crap out of me, but I can do this. And along the way, I had a girlfriend who basically heard me sing karaoke, stopped and said, "You need to have a band right the second." Cool. How do I get a band? I don't know, but you need to figure it out. I started writing my own material. I started, getting band members. I made a lot of mistakes because, once again, no one took me under their wing. It was all DIY. So I was making a lot of beginner rookie mistakes. But despite it all, 15 years later, I eventually became a more polished, a more controlled, and more understanding individual when it came to live music.
So it didn't come natural.
No, it did
Like
not.
you had to fucking grind to get to where you are.
I really did have to, because like, starting off, I had massive anxiety when performing in front of stage. Like, I was sitting there doing songs. I started off doing covers, and even back then I got so nervous from stage fright that I got sick the following day as a result of those nerves. And then to go from that to making my own songs, to hiring band members, trying to figure out what are the right band members for what you're trying to accomplish. I had, before doing Camo Kimono, I had 3 bands collapse in front of me, and that was heartbreaking to have that happen. I mentioned, my band was formerly known as WCS Worst Case Scenario.
Yeah.
That band went completely tits up in 2023, and I was left with the wreckage, and I had to go up to my original lead guitarist and say, "Paul, I need to keep going with this, because if I don't keep going with this, I don't know what my life is going to be like 2 months from now. Can I start with a new lineup, keep the songs that we wrote together? Do I have your sign off on it?" And he's like, "Dude, you wrote the songs. They're your songs. Do whatever the hell you want." And so being able to take that and then turn it into Camo Kimono, it's a 15-year long learning process.
Are you willing to get into what happened to that band that just fell apart in front of you?
Absolutely. So I'm going to try to do my best not to throw anyone under the bus, because that's not my thing. But I have to be factually accurate, which means some people are going to get thrown under the bus. Sorry. So
that's fair. No, be honest.
Yeah.
Honesty's the best policy here, right?
So my crew, they were all various different degrees of different kind of problematic musicians, but you could work with a problematic musician. You can work with someone who says, "Oh, I have to be up for work at 4:00 in the morning, so I can only do weekend shows." Cool. I'll change my schedule around that. You can work your way around a problematic player who says, "Hey, I forgot my parts. I know I should have learned them before coming into practice, but can we spend the next 15 to 20 minutes going over the parts I don't know?" You can work with that. What you can't work with is someone who you're consistently on their bad foot with. And unfortunately, with my previous drummer Mario, that was the problem. He had a external hard drive. He was doing all the album artwork for us, and I looked at him and I'm like, well, I mean, I could try to help you out with that. I mean, I'll
Yeah.
get another external hard drive, see if we can transfer the files from that laptop to that. And it was just so old and corroded that it wouldn't work, and he pretty much lost everything that was on the hard drive. When that happened, I was always in his bad books. And there wasn't anything I could do to fix that relationship, no matter how hard I tried. Um, our switch. So we had released an REP called World on Fire in 2023 in the summer of that. And I was already starting to experiment with what I wanted the band to be, which eventually became Camo Kimono. I was being a lot more, not flamboyant, but a lot more of a David Lee Roth kind of personality on stage. And he was like, well, I want you to be serious. I don't want you cracking jokes. I don't want you to be this kind of goofy kind of character. And eventually I went to my lunchroom at my job, and as I was going to the break room, I received a text message from my bassist Mikey, who looked at me and said, you know, whatever you read, I just want to let you know it wasn't your fault. He was just looking for an excuse. And I'm like, the hell does that mean? What did I miss while I was working? And I checked my phone, and Mario basically was lambasting me because he didn't like how I was promoting the band on social media, and he left the band at that point.
And you get this via text.
I got it via text. I got it via Facebook Messenger.
Okay. Oh, well, that's fucking more lame, but whatever.
Yeah. But when that happened, the energy in the band kind of completely dissipated, because the original lineup was Mario, Mikey, Paul, and myself. And
Yeah.
I wanted to keep going because, once again, this is something that I want to do with the rest of my life. But with how he blew up on the group chat with everyone else, it was like the wind was taken out of their sails. And so everyone just slowly but surely left, despite the fact that we still had to put out the album. The album was finished recorded,
Yeah.
but we still had to get the album artwork. We still needed to properly promote that. And so me, once again, when a band breaks up, it's kind of like breaking up with a girlfriend. I was crying. I was not able to sleep. I was shaking, essentially. And I couldn't really control myself, but I'm like, I can't afford therapy. I need to put this album out. I need to do something. Otherwise, I'm not going to be mentally well. And so I put the last of my money at the time into contacting our artist Anthony Haley and putting out the World on Fire EP. And that was how the band split up, essentially. Like, the band essentially died right after the recording process and left me with the remaining work to do it.
So are all the current members of Camo Kimono new guys, or did you bring anybody with you?
So originally, because it took some time, it took maybe about, I want to say, half a year before I reached out to Paul J. Dorn, who I started the band with. He plays in another band whose name right now really escapes me. Oh, they're called Concepts. But I went to go see them at a show, and I primarily went to the show because I'm like, I need to talk to Paul, because I want to get this band up and running again. I want to keep going, but I need his permission. I need to sign off.
Okay.
And I looked at him and I'm like, hey, man, good set, but I want to let you know that I want to reboot WCS. I want to change things. I want to change how it's promoted. I want to change the presentation, but I want to keep doing the songs. And he's like, okay, but I can't really be part of it full time. And I'm like, I wasn't even expecting you to join. You actually.
But if he can help you out, sure, right?
Yeah, you want
not?
to join and help me out? And he's like, yeah, but I want to let you know, my wife Monica is pregnant. I'm going to be a dad, and I won't be able.
There's the game changer.
I won't be able to commit to this full time. So long as you understand that, I'm willing to help you out as need be. But you need to understand that when it is time for me to leave, it is time for me to leave. And I'm like, you know what? I respect that. And with him coming back into the band, we managed to bring back our previous bassist Mikey, because they were friends. And then we brought in Dylan Beneteau, who I hadn't met before. We auditioned him, but he's now playing in a group called, I think they're called Wayward Saints. I'm not 100% sure. But that was the beginnings of what eventually became Camo Kimono. When Paul bowed out, so did the drummer and the bassist, and I rehired everyone from scratch on Craigslist,
Okay.
Kijiji.
Craigslist. That's
Yes.
the fucking thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So is now that Camo Kimono is starting to gain some traction, you're going to be, we were talking off air, you're about to do your first festival. You played the Bovine Sex Club, which is, known for, just alt rock, punk rock. Like it's got a rich history behind music. Is there any resentment from some of the old band members? Or have any of them reached out to you? Are they happy with the success you're starting to find? Is Mario still a dick? Like, is it all, how's that all rolling around?
Once again, I'm going to try my best not to bury him. So, I've spoken to Mario recently, actually. We did a show at Lee's Palace, and his band was performing on the main stage as part of some type of Latin, it was either a festival or some type of like Battle of the Bands concert or whatever. And, quite honestly, I just went downstairs, shook hands with him, broke bread with him, and, I realized that he's changed. And he's a wonderful person to talk to. He just is not the band member that I needed, because he has a hair trigger temper, and he's a fantastic drummer, but he's just really difficult to rope in with how emotional he feels. So he's a short man with an even shorter temper, but we've managed to water under the bridge between both of us. But I will most likely never work with him in terms of a band ever again, but I would most definitely attend one of his shows or help him load gear or just shoot the shit as we're known to do.
Short
There you
man with
go.
a short temper. I have a podcast partner like that. I guess actually he's not short.
I'm not short. I'm like normal.
All right. I got a normal podcast partner with a short temper.
So were you guys all aligned like musically? What genre you wanted to play? Because I watched a bunch of your stuff and I'm like, that's different. Is it folky? Like,
So my musical taste is all over the place.
I got that, which I like. Which because so is mine. Like it's all over the board.
So like outside of my parents' influences, the first major bands that I really started gravitating towards was like Trouble Charger, Our Lady Peace, which is even funny because I have a connection with Mike Turner with my first band. He was our recording engineer who used to play guitar for OLP.
Okay.
And then I started getting into like California rap rock and ska bands like Real Big Fish, Goldfinger, Zebrahead, and then going from that to completely British invasion. I'm talking more the 90s Britpop movement. So we're listening to Oasis, we're listening to Blur, we're listening to Pulp, we're listening to the Stone Roses, and then going from that to Japanese music, which was influenced by going to concerts and seeing like these Japanese bands fresh off the boat. And I'm like, oh my God, they're playing some really amazing stuff and the audience is just eating it up.
Can we touch a little bit on that? Sorry, before you go on, and
Yeah,
I'm sort
with
of
that
breaking you
whole
up in a roll.
Canadian Japanese.
Yeah, but
music fest. You're like, wow, is that because of the name of your band, or is that just coincidence? Like, I'm dying. Sorry, Ray.
Yeah, no, because when I was doing doing some reading up on you the last couple of days, the way you were described in multiple publications you're in, or even ChatGPT said, first is
publications. By the way, I haven't seen any of these.
Oh, I'll forward them off to you.
He's good at his research. Trust me.
And it said, they're influenced by J-Rock. And at first, I had to look up what the hell J-Rock meant. I didn't even know what J-Rock was. And I'm a pretty big music guy. Then I found out it was Japanese rock. Haven't been able to do it. What the hell is Japanese rock? Is it just rock played by Japanese people? Or is there like a different kind of twist to it?
There is a massive difference in terms of like how song structure is, how chord structure is. A lot of Japanese rock that I listened to was influenced by video games and anime. Like I would hear that and I'm like, they're playing stuff that we don't even bother. Like, what is the song structure? And a lot of it comes from 1980s groups like, oh my God, I'm forgetting. Cassiopeia, like jazz fusion bands from the late 80s in Japan. And these were like because of their jazz fusion influences, these eventually became music for a lot of Sega and Nintendo and all of these type of video game consoles. And me being a kid being exposed to that is like hearing these weird different grooves, and then I would go from that to listening to Canadian alternative, and I'm like, this is a completely different genre shift. And so
You have the most broadband music palette
you
I've
have to,
ever
yeah.
seen in my life. Like,
You have to listen
good
to
on you,
as
man.
much
That's
music
amazing.
as you possibly can in order to get an understanding in terms of crafting. Like, so much of what I do as a songwriter is listening to the music that I grew up with and understanding structure, verse, chorus, pre-chorus, verse, chorus, pre-chorus, and adding like a bridge or a tempo change or something like that, because your main job is to make sure that your music gets stuck in your audience head, because we're all creatures of habit, creatures of pattern. But being able to do something with that basic song structure and being able to tell a story, being able to make an emotional impact. Now, in regards to the Japanese influence, and this is why the band eventually became Camo Kimono. This is why all my presentation is like this. So in Toronto, there is a summer festival called Next Music from Tokyo. The person who hosts it, he works in the medical field, but basically he goes across the pond to Japan and gets like 4 or 5 bands fresh off the boat and says, "Hi, I want to bring you over to Canada. We are going across the country. I will cover your gear rental. I will cover your hospital stay. Your hospital stay. I'll cover your gear rental. I'll cover your hotel stay.
Your hospital stay.
Yeah, I will cover all your travel and logistics.
Isn't that reassuring?
Yeah, I'll cover your travel and logistics except for food. And we'll start in Toronto, then we'll go to Montreal, and then we'll go across the rest of Canada until we finish in Vancouver, BC, and then go across back to Japan." And so I was there, I want to say 5-6 years ago, just, exploring. I'm like, all right, cool, let's see some Japanese bands. And there was a band coming in at the very end called Toronoko Rami. They're an all-girl Japanese punk group, right? And I've been listening to some really amazing music pieces. These were not the best sounding bands, but what I will always remember is their lead singer, Mother Yanagi, or Yanagi Okasa. She comes out to the stage. She's wearing a Japanese flag as a cape. She's got a black hairband with 2 Japanese flags off the top like antenna. She has 3 green bottles of beer, which I can only assume were Steam Whistle Pilsner. She puts it to her mouth, spits it out in front of the audience, and says, "Toronto, let's go!" And before the band even goes the 1, 2, 3 hit, before that even happens, she jumps from the stage into the crowd and starts crowd surfing, and then the band kicks in eventually. And me, as a person, is sitting there looking at it wide-eyed going, whatever this woman is doing, I need to take notes, all of it, because what she's trying to do is what I want to have.
She's like the Japanese Biff Naked, or like
I'd say she's got more balls than Biff.
more balls than Biff.
She spent more time.
That should be their tagline, man.
Say, what a
Raise the marketing
sentence.
shit right there. More
What
balls
a
than Biff.
sentence. More
Yeah.
balls than Biff.
But she's a short girl. She goes like to about, maybe, I think she's like about 5'3", 5'4", and she spent most of her time jumping from the stage, screaming into the mic. She put her foot out. People would hold her foot and basically like allow her to stage walk and carry her. And I'm like, okay, I can't do that because I can't draw in that many people. But what I can do is I can take note of the attitude and how the music is making me feel. And it also made me understand that you don't have to have the best written songs. Sometimes you can just take control of an entire audience based on how good your live performance is. If people aren't really feeling it, that's cool. You acting like a psychopath can immediately turn people their way towards you, but there is give and take. There are nuances. You can go too far and then cause audience members to sit there and go, "Dude, nobody wanted to talk to you because we thought you needed like psychological help. What was that?"
See, I can't do that because I weigh 278 pounds. And if I just put my foot out to try to stage walk, you would just see hurt, crushed people in the front row. So
Yeah, and I weigh $160, so I don't go to mosh pits. The last mosh pit I was in, used my army brain. I said, I need to create an insurgency in here so I can get the fuck out of here, which is what I did.
Exfil.
Pretty much.
Get out.
You need to create an insurgency first, then figure out your route. I can't
Okay.
do that shit, man.
So I guess
That's wild though. Wild story. Like that's amazing influences that you have.
Well, it is, and I think that that's going to bring me into my favorite part of the show when we talk about your songwriting process, because I find it very interesting that you're pulling from Japanese rock, you're pulling from video games, you're pulling from Our Lady Peace, and some of these alt rock, post grunge Canadian bands. So when you're sitting down to write music, are you writing it from a standpoint of like, this is going to be a great studio album, or are you thinking about performing this live? Because it sounds like the show means a lot to you. Do you write from are you, when you're writing, is that song to be played live or is that to be played in the studio?
Almost everything that I want to create is something that I want to play live. Whether it is something that is more incredibly punky or something that's more ballady, it's always with the idea of this is going to be tested on the road. This is going to impact other people at our live shows. The thing is, once again, is that I am someone who is incredibly poor and has been poor most of my life. The studio is a financial luxury that I have not had access to. But what I've always had the ability to is grab an acoustic, beat the crap out of it until I find a chord progression that can work with it, make the structure from that point on. And then once we have the bare bones structure of what the music needs to be, then I sit down and go, okay, how is this music making me feel? I'll create a melody that will go between each parts, and I'll be building it like I'm assembling IKEA furniture. And then once I have the melody, then comes, what am I going to sing about? What are the lyrics? What do I feel in the moment? And sometimes the best parts where I'm writing lyrics are when I'm not thinking about it. We have "Show Me the Light," which is our first single for Camo Kimono. I thought of that when I was working at my Amazon warehouse job because I had listened to the song over and over and over again on the drive in, so that way it would be stuck in my head. And then as I'm on the shelves trying to load in some gear, I'm just sitting there going, look at all the, oh my God, there it is. Okay, give me a second. I have Post-it notes of me writing down the lyrics and the chord progressions from that.
So a follow up on that, I'm wondering, and this isn't me saying one way is right or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make that clear. I'm just interested. Last week we had Presley on from Destined for the Throne, and he's the primary songwriter. But he's really big on like bringing a song to the band and being like, do something with it. Like, do something with the drums, do something with the bass, like have fun, make it stupid. Like let's try everything, and how dumb can we make this song, and then build it backwards. When you write a song, how much freedom do you give the rest of the band to like mess with it, or is it your band, your song, play it as I say?
So this one is going to be a little bit interesting. So with my first two bands that I was in, so that was Searching for Kim and that was City and Wires, I was the primary songwriter. So I wrote both the music and the lyrics that I had tested out over time in my room before bringing it to the rest of the band and saying, hi, this is what I've got going on. This is the structure. You can do whatever you want, but I want it to follow this structure, this format, primarily because this is what's going to get stuck in people's heads. When it came to WCS, aka Camo Kimono, this was my first time in a more collaborative effort. I'm always really, really good when it comes to creating lyrics, not always the best when it comes to creating music. So I sat down with my guitarist, Paul J. Doran, and I said, what do you got in the tank? And so we would sit there in his room back when he would live on Lakeshore. And he would sit there with an acoustic guitar, and we would build the song in his room. He would start playing something. I'm like, okay, this is the melody I have. Da, 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 da. And then once he had that melody, I'm like, where do you think we should go with that? And we would start building the piece, so on and so forth. So Camo Kimono / WCS was me looking at the rest of the band saying, hey, I am not the greatest instrumentalist. If you guys have something, bring it towards me, and then me sitting down with it and going, how does this make me feel? How can I tell the story? What melody can I create with that? And then going back and forth, creating a collaborative effort between me and the rest of the crew.
That's awesome. Okay, so I'm really not trying to dwell on your last band falling apart, but I'm looking at those comparisons and compared to what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when you have people with, as you said, your words, not mine, you know, those explosive tempers and short tempers and short men and short tempers, and got a father like that, totally get it, right? Sorry, Dad, love you, but you know what it is. That can break up chemistry even when things are going the best. And do you find that that's maybe where you finally see a little bit more freedom in working with the groups, like that the chemistry is just a little bit better, or you know what I mean? You know, does the hostile environment take away from the creative process? I guess, you know what? Sorry, I'm going to rephrase this now because I just thought of a way better way to ask this question. Yeah. It's actually a different question altogether, but I think it's better than what I was about to ask you. Like, would it be fair for me to make the assumption that your previous version of your band was kind of like a job, and your new version of your band is more of that creative, fun process?
So this is going to sound really, really interesting. For me, I was actually doing way more creative work with the previous lineup with WCS, and that's simply because of the amazing talent that Paul J. Doran had as a guitarist. I was able to basically sit down and, like, within the span of maybe a couple days, we would have a new single, a new song. Like, it was to the point where we were writing like maybe about 10 to 11 songs a year, just while also maintaining our lives and things like that. With this new crew, there is way more ability to collaborate and things like that, but the rest of the guys haven't made enough to be able to go on. Like, since I have this new crew, we have one new single, which we haven't released, where we play it live. But to go from 10 to 11 songs a year to maybe about 1 to 2, my role has changed significantly from, I'm going to be this burgeoning artist, to focusing more on the business aspect, forging strong relationships and connections, making sure that we have a decent website, and we have photos and social media and stuff like that. I've become
so you're running production.
Yeah, I'm
like
basically
everything.
becoming a full-time content creator.
Yeah.
And that is showing the creativity, but until
It's
the
extra
rest-
work.
until the guys will come up to me with a new piece of music, then I won't be able to do anything, because I'll write songs, but I know what my weakness is, and my weakness is that I do not come from a musical background. The music that I make will always sound Green Day, Oasis-y, will always sound like how I was in my 20s, and the band needs to evolve and change and become something new, and the only way you can do that is when you have other members who are willing to step forward, take that risk, and being able to collaborate better.
So do they come with you? Because I'm the dumb guy here. This is the part of the show where I'm like, write the fuck out of her.
Yep.
Ray's a music writer. He writes. You write. And I ask everybody kind of the same question. Do you just write lyrics like poetry, or is this a combination of both here? It could be both. Or do you let the guys come with the instrumental and listen to it, and they say, I can tie words to this? Like, how does that work? That's like I know it sounds like a stupid question, but
No, it's not wrong at all. There's a thing that basically I talk with all songwriters, and I'm like, what comes first, music or lyrics? And
that's what I'm asking.
Anyone who looks at me and says, oh, the lyrics come first, I look at them like they're from a completely different planet. And that is because you can have this really cool idea for a song, but you need to figure out the melody. You need to figure out how this all flows together and focuses. Otherwise, you're just doing spoken word poetry, my friend.
Well, that's, because that's Gord Downey.
Yeah.
So I'm a lyricist.
He just writes shit, and then they figure it out.
Yeah, and that's, as Chris used, that's my writing styles. I'm a lyricist. However, that being said, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, I was talking about it. I think it was 2 weeks ago. A lot of my songs are just poetry, right? A lot, like I write poetry, and a lot of my songs are versions of my poems that I've then structured like a song. It's like, oh, I've written a really emotional piece here.
Yeah.
And I think that this can be a verse, this can be a chorus, this can be a pre-chorus. Okay, now I just got to do this 3 more times, and I have a song here. And I've always started with the lyrics. I've typically started with the chorus, because that's usually the core of my poem. right? And then that moves into the chorus because that's the expression I'm trying to get through. However, I do understand what you're saying because my guitar, so for instance, Jack Tripp, who was my guitar player when I was younger, his songwriting exclusively came from music first. Like he would bring music and then write the lyrics, or bring music and say, put lyrics to this. Now, if you write a song and you send it to me and say, Ray, I want you to put lyrics to this song. You'll get the dumbest shit back from me. You'll get like, I walked into a bar when I got out of my car and we had some fun tonight. You know what I mean? Like that's what you're gonna get out of me. Now send me lyrics and I'll put music to it. I'm gonna send you deep, meaningful lyrics to me, and I'm going to write to you and I'm going to say, here's the lyrics, here's how I'm envisioning it. I'm envisioning it as like an operatic blend of, listen, my writing style, my music style is like it's sort of a heavy post grunge like alt rock, but like with a fusion of operatic sounds to it. And that's my writing style. That's my beautiful style. The stuff I write for people are bullshit 4/4. Sounds like Theory of a Dead Man, you know what I mean? Alt rock shit.
I like Theory of a Dead Man, so
I love Theory. I was at Theory on in February, but I think
acoustic shit when they did the acoustic.
Yeah,
tour?
I was at the acoustic tour.
Awesome,
Jeff Martin opened, who I think is just a brilliant songwriter, and then Theory. I love Theory as well, but my music is like, I think it's a lot like Jeff Martin solo shit. Like it's like scotch. It's an acquired taste. Like either you're gonna fucking love it or you're gonna hate it. And my shit's a little weird. So I write the 4/4 bullshit songs for fun, you know. I just wrote a song the other day called "There's the Fucking Door." You know what I mean? So I think it's that, but yeah, you put, so it's I always find, but so anyways, long story short, I can digress too, Matthew. And if you put a mic in front of me, I don't shut the fuck up, and it's my show, so I take
that's
advantage.
why I'm here to say okay.
I'm just happy that you put BRB and turned your camera off like it was a Zoom call meeting for an office building.
You lost it. I realized what happened.
Dude, I had to go, man. Listen, if I wrote music, so here, if I did, which I don't, but I've rewritten shit that I hear on the radio, like a song. I'm like, this would be my version of the lyrics to this song. So to me, if I did it, which I don't, so I'm just talking a bunch of shit here. I would need the music first. I could have all this stuff written down, but I wouldn't know where to put it, because it would depend on the mood and the tone and everything. Like, is it dark? Is it fucking upbeat? Whatever. And somebody gave me a piece of instrumental and say, you got lyrics for this? I'm like, fuck yeah. I need the music, like the lyrics, the instrumental first, and then I could apply what the lyrics would be to it. That's how I would work, which I don't. But
so for me, once again,
just how my brain works.
Yeah, for me, the lyrics come last, and the reason why.
Okay, so we think the same way almost.
Yeah, for me, the voice, the singer is an extension of the music, right? It's not like it's another layer of rhythm guitar, if you will. And so once I have a melody that works well with what is going on, then I can start orientating and telling the story. Then I can start sitting there going, okay, this is a semi-complete version of music. And so much of our songs are based upon my emotions, what's going on, how I'm feeling, how the music is making me feeling. So being able to just write the lyrics at the beginning, I'm like, no. The music helps tell the story, helps get this out of me, helps create and conjure what the story that I'm going to tell is going to be about. And as a result of that, I can't do lyrics first. It has to be find the melody. Once you have that melody,
I get that.
Then create the lyrics.
Okay. That's how my brain works. So I get that 100%.
That's why I love this show, though, because being a songwriter, and I'm a better songwriter than a musician. So I tell people all the time. But actually, I'm probably a better poet than I am anything else, right? Which is reflective into my songwriting. But that's why I love this show, because your way is not right, my way is not right. You know what I mean? Even though it sounds like we're debating, I think we're both just giving our side of how our creative process works. And I really find it interesting because I'm sitting here. For me, the music is a mechanism to present the lyrics. For you, you're like, the lyrics is a complementary piece to present the music. You know what I mean? And I think that's the difference between a musician and a lyricist, right? I play instruments, but I'm a lyricist who plays instruments, right? You are a musician that writes lyrics, right? Like, and it's almost two different perspectives. That's why I love this show. I just love hearing that different songwriting process. So tell me, are you like lock yourself in the room, light some candles, turn the lights off, you know, get high, whatever it is, like, are, you know, and just write the music? Or are you that guy that's like, you know, you're pumping in a club and you're just like, holy shit, like I got to write this down. I know you were talking about like your post-it notes and you get ideas, but like, do you ever have a writing session, or is it just shit that comes to you and they're like, okay, I gotta work with this?
So I do somewhat have a bit of a writing session, but the major thing, like there's two different sides of the songwriting spectrum, and both of which are excess. So you're trying to lock in too much and you overshoot the lyrics, and you're basically, you know, you're trying to be so serious that you can't really quite get the story that you're trying to tell, or it sounds really stilted. You're like, you know what, I need to redo this draft again. And then there's another time where you're sitting there and you're just like, oh man, this is awesome, I need to write about that. I'm like, well, that doesn't necessarily work with me. I have to basically be in a sort of middle ground. Like if I'm just sitting there and I'm just shooting the shit, a lot of the best written songs I have is from me driving my car. And as I'm driving my car, I'll remember the song. I'll listen to the song like 4, 5, 6 times before I get out on the road. So that way the song is in the back of my head, but I won't be trying too hard to create great art. I could throw it away if I don't find something that works. But the moment I find that one key part, whether it's a verse or a chorus, the moment that happens, I'm like, that's what the song is going to be. I'm going to lock in on that. And then once you have that, then the rest of the song can flow through. It's not always going to be 100% perfect. There's going to be some times where you're like, you know what? This bridge, the melody is there, but the words need to be changed. It doesn't sound quite right? And you might have like 2 to 3 different drafts, but you want to make sure that you have something that captures the feel. Once you have like a small little glimpse into it, then you can really flesh it out and it can really become something big. But don't overthink. Don't sit there and go, oh, I have to get this done, I have to make great art, because then you're going to create something that's pretentious, or you're going to create something that just doesn't quite land that emotional impact that you want.
Have you ever... I'm throwing fucking curveballs now.
Yeah.
Which I'm good at. That's why I'm here. I throw curveballs at Ray when he has a big plan of what we're going to do. I fuck him around.
Well, he used to do sports.
It's why I stopped sending him the rundown.
I'm here for color commentary, and I throw out the occasional whimsical anecdote. So my question is, do you ever
hold on,
back
Matthew,
at this song?
You don't understand. I used to sit here and do a whole rundown of the show, segment by segment, timing by timing. This is what it's going to look like. Here's the subjects of the questions. I would send it to him. We'd come out 3 minutes in, he'd be off on some fucking tangent talking about something else that I was just like, all right, no more segments. I'm like, no more fucking rundowns, because it just doesn't work.
I can adapt to that.
What were you going to ask me? Sorry.
Did you ever look back at a song that was finished, completed, you played it live, it was recorded, whatever, and go, I wish I could redo that and do it differently?
Sometimes, yes. There are ones where I will...
Like, not a regret thing. It doesn't mean it was bad or you regret it. You're just like, fuck, I wish I could have did this with it or whatever. And then like maybe try it live, right?
With me, I have one song like that, and it's not because of anything. It's just a small little semantic thing. Like, we have a song called Payday, which is influenced by A, the fact that I was consistently poor, and B, I was playing the video game Payday where you and 3 other friends rob banks.
Oh, and there's money flying around. I remember that game.
Yeah.
I'm a gamer, so.
But I was sitting there, and we have a pre-chorus where I'm like, I'm looking at it going, okay, well, I'm saying this part here, and I'm like, if you've, I made up my mind, and I'll respond in kind to a world that feels so far away, or to a world that seems so far away. And like, looking at it now, if I look at the recording, I'm like, I probably should have had seems in the beginning, and then feels at the second and third chorus to talk about the person's switch in mindset. But like, it is a small little semantic thing. Like, if it's out there, I'm like, cool, I have done enough work, I've done enough effort, I am really, really anal about the content of my songs in terms of what stories I'm telling, what
Yeah.
words I'm getting across. So I make damn sure that before we even get in the recording studio, that I am perfectly happy with it. Otherwise, why would I take the time and effort to spend money that I don't have to go
Oh
and
no, no,
record
fair
it?
enough. I'm just talking about like a couple years later from a maturity and personal growth
Mhm.
perspective where you go, you know what? I like that. But looking at it now, I would put these lyrics to it instead or and tweak this or that.
I
That's kind of
don't.
How old were you when you started writing?
yeah.
So when I started writing for music or writing?
No, music. Yeah, yeah. Not
Okay.
when you learned how to spell, but like when you
No, no, no.
when did you start writing music? When did
No,
you
'cause
start writing music?
you and I both have a media background. I tried to get into games journalism and then realized it
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
work unless I live in California.
Correct. Yes.
But for me, I started writing my own original music at like acoustic open mic nights in 2009 during my first year of college.
Okay.
That was because I met the girl that I was dating at the time. She said you should definitely get into this, and I went from playing other people's music to actually sitting down and going, okay, well, let's figure out. I've got my dad's acoustic guitar. What are some chords? And I would sit there with like a guitar book, and I'd sit there and I'd start playing other people's songs. And then afterwards, I'm like, okay, this is how this chord progression works. These are some chords that would work with this. And then I started structuring from that point on.
Okay. So you were in college in 2009. We're in 2025. So I can roughly figure out how old you are right now.
Yeah.
A couple years younger than me. Um, do you look at the lyrics that you wrote, say back then, as a 19, 20-year-old, college student? Because when Chris asked that question, I was chuckling to myself because in 2004 we released a three song demo,
Mhm.
and there was a song called Holly, and it was about my ex-girlfriend. After we had broken up, she had come out as a lesbian, and it was as a 16-year-old, it's a bruised ego, and male toxicity and masculine, you know what I mean, toxic masculinity and all that kind of stuff, and wrote a song about it. And it's a song that will never see the light of day ever again. You know what I mean? It was probably an appropriate song for 2004, not an appropriate song for 2024 when you think about what the pop punk scene was at that time.
Yeah.
But even from how just ridiculous the song was, the writing was so immature. You know what I mean? Like even just my word choice and how I did things. And I look at myself writing now at 38, a month away from 39, and it's like, man, I could rewrite that song right now and actually make it a beautiful song, right?
Mhm.
Like even with the undertones of what it is. But the question I wanted to ask you, going back to my 3-song thing, is so you released an LP, which I
Mhm.
assume is a 6-song LP or EP?
Yes.
EP.
Yeah. The World
6
on
song.
Fire EP.
Yeah, so I was 6 songs, right?
Mhm.
Were those ready, or were you writing for that album? Because like our 3-song demo was the worst written lyrics I've ever wrote, and it wasn't because some of it's because of my age,
Mhm.
but the other parts of it too was because we were ready to go in the studio and the songs weren't quite ready, and I got pressured into finishing these songs. You know what I mean? Like we have to finish these lyrics, we have to finish these songs, and they're shit because of that. And I'm a writer where I can write 6 songs in a week, and then I can go 9 weeks without writing, 10, 12 weeks without writing, because I'm just not inspired.
Yeah.
Are you somebody who can work under that pressure, or do you need that space and that time in order to, be the perfectionist that you say you are?
Well, so it's really kind of interesting because the major thing is that I have gotten so used to, hey, you got to write a song in about a month, and I'll just sit there listening to the song, and if I'm in a good headspace, I could really knock it out of the park within the span of a weekend. But the music has to be strong in order to do so. There are like the only songs that I quote unquote was not too pleased with were songs which could not handle my voice, right? They were for a different singer. They're a great, fully fleshed out song, but it just wouldn't work with me. It's better off with someone with a higher pitch or someone with a longer range or something like that. When it comes to me as a songwriter, I don't really have any regrets. I don't have songs that I wish I could redo. There's always going to be songs that I'm like, what the hell was I thinking here? But I never go into the quote unquote studio part until I know for a fact these are songs that have been road tested. These are songs that we have done live at a show that people have liked, that people have responded to, and no one comes at you and says, what the hell was that? Before you spend any money down on going into the studio, 100% do shows with your songs, test them out, see how people respond to them. Because that is a great way of figuring out, okay, these are songs that probably should be on the album, or these are songs that are just B-sides that probably should have been cut during the production.
You know, Matthew, whether it's sports, music, every time I finish a show, I always tell a guest, I got to have you back on, right?
Oh, 90, yeah, we're just getting into it.
Yeah, say 98% of the times it's just a pleasantry. I have no intentions of ever bringing them back on because it's like, what the hell are we going to talk about when you come on? I've literally scratched the surface of the things I wanted to ask you today, and we've completely run out of time. So if you're open to it, we would love to have you back another day to come in and talk a little bit more if you're cool with that.
Yeah, we got to have a part 2, man.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Unless you're cursing us out right now. But yeah, we would love to have you back. But I want to give you the opportunity right now to kind of roll some things out and, tell everybody where they can find you, your upcoming festivals, your shows, your social medias, all that kind of stuff. You have muted yourself, buddy. If you look down to the bottom left, there's a mute button. I can't do anything. Oh my God, it's like dealing with Chris. Oh, your mic disconnected.
He'll sort it out. He'll be back. No,
your mic is just go to settings. Bottom right before the leave studio. This is great audio for people right now.
We'll edit all this shit out.
No, I don't edit nothing. I edit
You're
nothing.
Gonna fucking leave this in?
Of course I am. This is all a part of the show. This is the fun. This is the fun behind it.
I'll take this time.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
There we go. Back. There we go. You're
okay.
back.
I had to switch microphones. Give me 1 second.
That happens. Ask
me. I hate it
so much. Cool. Are you hearing me now?
Yeah, you're crisp and clear now, buddy. So
sorry, plug your shit, my friend.
Yes. So what I was saying is we definitely want to have you back because we have scratched the surface. So I don't know if you heard what I said. I tell about 99% of my guests I want to have you back, and I don't really mean it. It's just a pleasantry. But there's a lot. I wanted to get into the whole social media piece. We didn't touch that. There's a lot I wanted to get into. So if you're willing, in the next few weeks, maybe September, October time, we'd love to have you back, catch up, and continue this interview, do a part 2. But we're out of time for now. So I want to give you the opportunity, tell the people what you're doing, where it's at, where they can find you, all your music, all that kind of stuff. It's your time to pitch.
Yep. Okay, so absolutely, I would love to come back and down because there are so many stories that I haven't told you, and there's a lot of really, really good stuff that I'm surprised that we didn't have time to get to. You can find my music at my band's website, which is camokimonomusic.com. We are also available on everything, Spotify until we decide to stop giving Spotify our money, SoundCloud, everything, you name it, just type in Camo Kimono, CAMO Kimono. You will find everything you need to about the band. Me personally, also on top of doing the band, I'm also a content creator who does games, anime, music, journalism. All of that is on my YouTube channel, which is Sonic MTD, capital S, small O, small N, small I, small C, capital M, capital T, capital D. And I guarantee you're going to love what you see. But either way, later days.
Ooh, wow.
You can tell a media guy from a mile away. Yeah. Like he's got it all down on lock.
Boom.
Matt, we appreciate you, buddy. We will definitely have you back real soon, man. I love this.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And later days, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Kimono.
Komodo's
you have no idea how much.
Komodo's a dragon.
Komodo's a dragon. I know the lizard.
Yeah, we just started getting into it. An hour goes by quick. And I didn't even fucking railroad this show, man. I was cool in the gang, bro.
I had my one little moment there where I digressed a little bit, but it was just a lot of like solid guy. So a lot of good.
We definitely got to have him back for sure, and keep digging because there's more to that story for sure. We just barely got going.
Yeah. Chris, man, we are booked right up until like the middle of September right now with guests. And for the most part, we are doing 2 interviews every Monday. Like
this
we are
is
just
crazy. This is a different direction than we planned.
Yeah, I first of all, I cannot thank
But it's good. It's a good
Matthew and the other musicians for, answering my messages, being so receptive. I mean, Chris, I think I was telling you this. Like, I come from the sports world, where like it's fucking impossible to get a guest to come on your show. I had 30,000 followers. I was the number 2 podcast at that time.
Like, you can get the water boy from the Patriots to come
number 2 football podcast in North America. I was a featured podcast, but part of Sportscaster. We had a Spotify deal, and I couldn't get fucking people to come on the show. I just reached out to bands. They're like, yeah, I'm down. I put out a message to 5 bands today. 4 got back to me in 10 minutes. They're like, yeah, email me the deets. We're on. I saw the date works. Oh, perfect. So it was actually my beautiful bride. It's like, you got to start doubling up. You can't start booking these guys out till December.
And that's cool. I mean? Yeah, that's cool. That's the direction we're going. We didn't know which direction this was going to go. We just had a fucking neat idea that Ray said, we're doing this now, not in fall. And then, okay, let's go. And here we are. So it's good. I like the model. It works.
That's the way I do it. Anyways, brother, guys, you can find us on TikTok at When the Music Matters. We do a little bit there. I'm really easing up on the social medias a little bit. I'm letting the audio podcast speak for itself. Debuted on Apple Podcasts at number 40, bud. And
there you go.
We're consistently floating in the top 100, which we can't ask for anymore. And that's all because of our audience. We appreciate you guys so much. Follow me on Instagram at Ray Route. And Chris is going to talk to you about all the TikTok stuff he's putting out and all the fun he's having on the TikTok app. He loves
TikTok. I'm still trying to figure the damn thing out, man.
Every once in a while, I just see the Army Chris liked your video, and I just get excited. I'm like,
as good as I'm doing right now. It's summertime, man.
I was like, he was on TikTok. I love it.
I looked at it because I open it up and there's like 86 fucking notifications. I don't want to turn them off. I'm like, oh man.
I'm just excited.
I'm going to endeavor to be better. Like summertime, I don't do this stuff very much. I'm doing it for my man Ray, but normally I would be not doing fuck all. Come fall, we're gonna heat it up, and I'm gonna start cranking up the socials and doing some more stuff.
And I'm looking forward to Fire for Effect coming back, or is this like a one-off?
This is a one-off for the summer, and then we're rebooting it in the fall because I didn't like the direction it was going. So,
that's
gonna change up. Gonna change up.
We got we got a one-off. I do. I got a one-off for Dear Pats Nation this week, and then September we boot off for real. So it's fun, it's fun, Mike, Chris. It's fun to be back. I almost called you Mike. I really apologize. You and Mike are like exact opposite.
Call me whatever
people.
You want.
We had a dude from Edmonton 2 weeks ago, and he kept talking about Mike, and he kept saying Mike this and Mike that, and I was like, and I realized he was talking about you.
Oh, is that right?
And I was like, Chris, you mean Chris? And he's like, oh yeah, shit, Chris.
Well, listen, I'll be ready to speak to the Chiefs. Chiefs Kingdom, Pats Nation. I got some interesting news coming up. I'm getting back into my NFL groove.
2 dynasties, baby. 2 dynasties.
Man, it's going to be an interesting year, but that's for another show.
Let's wrap this shit up. I appreciate you, Chris. Yeah, because we are back in 25 minutes to do another interview.
We got time for a smoke break and a chunk of chicken in the fridge.
All right, tell the people where they can find you, man.
At the Army Chris on Instagram, and I'm on the TikTok machine at the Army Chris 71. Hopefully, I can change my name later. I have 0 posts because I don't even know how the fucking thing works, but I will get there. So till then, get at me on Instagram.
All right, guys. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Matthew. Make sure you go check out Camo Kimono. Great, unique sound. If you like unique sounding alt rock bands, that's the way I call it. Go check it out. It's different.
Good. You'll dig it.
All right, guys. That's it. We're out. Later.
When life seems down and everything tattered, take a trip with us back to when the music mattered. 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 Music mattered.